Welcome back to ZNGP Today. Jack Miller closed Yamaha's inline-four era in Valencia as the top M1 finisher, finishing 9th after a race spent managing severe rear wheel spin. The Australian insists the team will park the inline project and focus fully on the V4 for 2026, and he's already looking forward to riding alongside new stablemate Toprak Razgatlioglu. Crowned 2025 MotoGP World Champion at Valencia, Marc Márquez used the podium and awards gala to reflect on a career-defining comeback, one born from a long injury saga and capped by a dominant season. The Ducati rider said his return from serious arm problems to lift the title is about more than trophies. It's a message about perseverance and the people who helped him through the dark times. Less than 48 hours after the 2025 season finale, MotoGP flips the page. Tuesday's collective Valencia test, November 18th, officially kicks off 2026. 7 hours of track time, fresh hardware on the grid and several high-profile debuts make Ricardo Tormo less a postscript and more a preview of next year. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Miller ran as high as 6th in the Valencia race, but heavy rear wheel spin, particularly on left-handing sectors, cost him pace in the closing laps and dropped him to 9th. He described trying to nurse the tire home as the last 10 laps turned into a survival exercise. In turns 1, 2, 6 and up to 8 the tire was spinning massively. With 10 laps to go the tire gave up and I was just bleeding time, trying to survive. It was a familiar end-of-race script for teams fighting traction. Miller's clean race and measured approach still salvaged a useful result for Pramac Yamaha. Sunday marked the final Grand Prix outing for Yamaha's inline-four M1. Miller was pragmatic about the farewell. The bike will be parked while attention turns to the new V4 project. Now we'll put this inline bike in the cellar and start working on the new one to see what we can do. That line neatly sums Yamaha's position. Respect for the past, but a full reset for the future. Miller reflected on the season-long adaptation from KTM's carbon chassis package to the Yamaha, and expects the switch to V4 to be less seismic than what he endured coming into the M1. He highlighted that stability and front-end understanding improved late in the year, even if outright speed sometimes lagged. He feels the bike's DNA remains, and the step to the V4 won't be as dramatic as the change he made earlier this season. That experience could prove valuable in 2026. A rider who's already adapted once may help accelerate Yamaha's V4 development. The campaign produced peaks and troughs, some strong finishes, but also inconsistency. Miller ended the year 17th in the standings and was the second-best Yamaha behind Fabio Quartararo. Valencia's result was one of the positives to end on. For Miller, the main takeaway is usable feedback and growing familiarity with the M1's behavior under race pressure. Valencia was Miguel Oliveira's final MotoGP race. Miller paid tribute to his departing teammate, calling Oliveira a fantastic rider, and wishing him well as he heads to World SBK. At the same time, Miller is excited about the future pairing with Toprak Razgatlioglu, who will be on track alongside the grid for upcoming Valencia tests. It's sad to see him leave the paddock, but I'm looking forward to seeing his journey in Superbike. And I'm ready to start working with Toprak. I'm excited to see what he can do. New teammate dynamics and the V4's arrival set the stage for an intriguing 2026 at Pramac Yamaha. Immediate focus turns to the Valencia official test and a private test the following day, where the V4 will take center stage. Miller and the team expect to convert the season's feedback into groundwork for next year's machine. The seller line for the inline-four is symbolic. Development resources will shift entirely to the V4, and early testing will be critical to measure how quickly Yamaha can catch up. Jack Miller leaves Valencia pragmatic, not sentimental. He finished Yamaha's inline-four chapter with a hard, honest race and a clear message. The old bike is parked, lessons have been learned, and attention is now on the V4 and a new teammate in Toprak. If Yamaha can turn late-season stability gains into a coherent V4 package, Miller will be among those ready to push it. But first comes the crucial work at the tests. Marquez's 2025 campaign was emphatic. 11 Grand Prix wins and 14 sprint victories underpinned a title that marked his return to the top after years of struggle. But for the Spaniard, the trophy mattered as much for what it represents off the track as on it. "I hope this comeback helps a lot of people as inspiration for their lives, and to never give up." The statistics tell the sporting story. Marquez's message spoke to recovery, resilience, and the human side of elite sport. Marquez's return carried extra weight because it followed a serious arm injury first sustained in 2020 and 4 major operations through 2022. He left Honda in 2024 and rebuilt his career at Ducati, a path that required difficult decisions and patience. That context, medical setbacks, surgery, and a change of teams, makes the 2025 title one of the more remarkable recoveries in recent motorsport history. Present at the Valencia finale despite still being in recovery from a shoulder issue suffered at Mandalika, Marquez said the awards weekend helped him feel the achievement more fully. He thanked those around him for support during the low moments. "When you are on the crest and you go down, it's super dark there. The people around me helped a lot." For a rider used to talking about lap times, the emotional honesty at the gala was a reminder of the collective effort behind a champion. Marquez framed the title as more than a personal triumph. He wants it to be an example for others facing hardship. The comeback, he said, was the product of belief, hard choices, and the right people beside him. Sports achievements often double as life lessons. Marquez chose to underline that wider takeaway as part of his legacy this season. Although he attended Valencia's celebrations, Marquez will not ride in the immediate post-season test as he continues rehabilitation. His focus now is on following medical advice and returning fully prepared for 2026. The champion's path remains cautious. Celebrate what's been won, then prioritize the work needed to be competitive again. Marc Márquez's 2025 championship is a headline of wins and records. But at Valencia he made clear the title's deeper value. Proof that recovery, support, and stubborn belief can lead you back to the top. For Marquez, the triumph is already serving its larger purpose, to inspire others not to give up. The paddock opens for a single, intense test day, morning running from 10 to 1300 hours, with a 20-minute practice starts break, and a full afternoon session finishing at 1700 hours. Teams typically use this November outing to give development directions that will be refined in winter tests. Sepping is still the big milestone. Organizers expect benign conditions, a cool but sunny day with temperatures roughly between 13 to 19 degrees Celsius, which helps data comparability across teams. Short, sharp, and data-rich, Valencia is the November dress rehearsal for the 2026 season. The headline technical story is Yamaha's V4 rollout. After Aragon shakedowns, the factory brings the new V4 to Valencia and will give Toprak Razgatlioglu his first official run aboard the Prima/Pramac M1 V4. Yamaha's switch of engine philosophy is the single most eye-catching development note of the day. Expect ergonomics work, baseline setup, and cautious mileage rather than headline lap times. Yamaha wants usable data, not publicity fireworks. Tuesday will also feature important rider beginnings. Moto2 champion Diogo Moreira climbs into the LCR RC213V for the first time, a crucial adaptation day, carbon brakes, lowering systems, Michelin tires. Nicolo Bilega will again carry factory duties at Ducati while Marc Márquez recovers. These sessions are as much about getting riders comfortable as they are about pushing aero or engine limits. For rookies and debutants, Valencia is a controlled baptism of fire, short runs, lots of feedback, and heavy coaching from test teams. Marc Márquez remains sidelined and won't ride. Ducati runs Bilega and special centenary liveries. Pertamina VR46 will miss Franco Morbidelli after his pre-race hand fracture, reshuffling running plans. Those absences change the development feedback loop. Teams will reallocate test programs and rely on available riders for crucial comparatives. Who's on the bike matters as much as what's on the bike. Replacements will carry heavyweight responsibilities for next year's decisions. Expect conservative aero packages, chassis geometry checks and tire mapping rather than radical one-off parts. Manufacturers commonly use November to set development directions and then bring bolder items to Sepang. The engine-freeze landscape and Yamaha's concession status means some teams will prioritize rideability and electronics over pure top-end power this winter. Ducati will show special centenary liveries that celebrate its history while still pushing incremental updates to the GP25/GP26 line. Valencia is where? Does it work? Replaces? How fast is it? In the technical checklist. The November test narrows the winter program. What works in Valencia dictates priorities for private tests and Sepang. Given looming 2027 regulations, manufacturers must balance short-term gains against longer regulatory pivots. Teams that gather clean, repeatable data here gain a head start on spring development. Think of Valencia as the season's planning meeting, not the execution, but the blueprint for everything that follows. Valencia's one-day collective test is compact but consequential. New engines, rookie bootcamps, replacements, filling important slots and modest technical updates will set the tone for the winter. If you want to spot the first true signals of 2026, start your stopwatch at 10 o'clock on Tuesday. The season's next chapter begins in earnest there. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!